We are live. What's good? What's good, Ohio Cannabis Report family on YouTube? We on YouTube and we on IG at the same time. Two different recordings. My camera dirty. I'll be right back. YouTube. Let me see. Yeah. All right. So I got to catch the YouTube family up. So I was just I got a tip from Brianna, who goes by Ebony Hempress, on Threads, that there was a protest or a strike, worker strike at Herbal Wellness on Main Street, downtown Columbus, one of the dispensaries downtown. So I was kind of in the area. So I drove over there, and there was about 10, 11, 12 of the workers, and there was a Teamster van. And so they were protesting and striking for unfair wages at that location specifically, and then unfair labor practices. They said that dispensary alone made $7 million last year. The dispensaries in Ohio, the cannabis industry has made over $3 billion since the inception of adult use and medical. So that was the first one. I think that I've heard of a couple more. And then right down the street is Main Street Cannabis, which is another dispensary. And I don't know if this dispensary is a part of OCAN. OCAN is one of those leaders in the cannabis industry here in terms of cannabis companies. I also do know that the name of this dispensary has changed, I believe, about 2 to 3 times. So I probably not the same ownership that it started under. I remember it was Strawberry Fields, I believe. So I believe it has changed ownership. And so, yeah, they were out there protesting for higher wages, better labor practices. And so I love to see it, as a independent media person, and I guess journalist. I don't call myself a journalist because my wife is a journalist, for real. I didn't go to school for this. I just kind of, fell into this because I saw opportunity in creating a platform in the cannabis space in Ohio. So, but with that said, there needs to be more people speaking out against, the unfair labor practices going on, the amount of money that's being made that isn't being shared with the community. Also they're over-regulating and restricting instead of expanding the cannabis industry here in Ohio. And so obviously they're restricting education, and like we should be receiving education. At this point, the state should be giving cannabis seeds away. When you go to the state fair, they should have hemp and cannabis seeds. Everybody grow. Because guess what? Donald Trump got these tariffs looking crazy. Y'all better get these farmers some hemp seed. Because China said they don't want them soybeans. Nah, but on some real, man, it's interesting times. And I support it. I think we need more people speaking out. I think we need more consumers speaking out against the state, against these companies. I think we need more lawsuits against the state, against these companies. I think we need more advocacy. I think more people need to understand that cannabis sits at the intersection of a lot of our social issues too. You talk about healthcare, you talk about economics, you're talking about the prison industrial complex, you talk about mental health, you talk about physical health and well-being. You talk about just quality access to healthcare, food, um, new jobs, innovative jobs, sustainability, cleaning the environment, cleaning the soil. There's a lot of different benefits that come from cannabis. And so until people realize that we can fight in our silos about healthcare or women's rights or man rights or all these different things, like, again, I understand, as a black man, I get it. But at a certain point, folks have to put down those differences and realize it's a class issue at this point. I've been blessed to be very successful in my life so far, and I've been able to see a lot. And one thing you realize is that when the bottom line isn't doing well, like, nobody's really doing well, because you end up pulling the slack for other people, which doesn't allow you to be your best self because you got to help other people. And like, I come from a big family, so I know what it's like to get a text message from two, three, four different brothers and sisters asking for money, and then you'd be like, well, I got my own family, bro. Like, I got my own savings, I got my own projects and my own shit that I want to do, you know. And it's the reality that a lot of people live in, but we don't often talk about it because it's embarrassing, it's sad, it's frustrating, I guess. It's demoralizing, but again, it's a lot of people living like that. And until people are willing to be vulnerable with themselves, let alone everybody else, the thing is, if you understand data, you understand that the majority of people are fucked up. The majority. If you're not a part of the 1%, if you are not Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Zuckerberg, dude from Nvidia, Trump, if you're not one of them, Kanye, you might have it a little bit better. You got a little bit nicer car, you live in a little bit different neighborhood, but guess what? You still got to go to work every day for that check, because when that check stop coming in and you can't pay that rent or that mortgage or that car note, shit get real scary. It get real spooky. I mean, that's what people don't talk about, because everybody think these jobs is secure. Like, nah, they not. But people base their lives off of that security of that job. And people say, we see it all the time. People be making $200,000 and all of a sudden the job is gone. Now you've been living like you making 200,000. You done bought the nice house, nice car. Y'all going out to eat every night, ordering DoorDash every night. Kids is going to private school. Damn, job had to cut some jobs and you was on that chopping block. We was paying you a little bit too much money, and we switched that over to AI quickly. And people don't talk about that. And that's how people be getting got. Because people be making more money and living in a different neighborhood. But again, most of their money is going to the lifestyle. Most people money is going to their rent and their mortgage. And then transportation, food, childcare. So you got to understand, if you understand data, you understand numbers, analytics, and you understand, like, most people don't have high profile jobs. Most people aren't making six figures. Most people have to do 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs just to try to make ends meet. Whole time you making less money, because if you would just do what you're gifted at, by the time you spend more time investing in yourself, in your craft, in your gift, instead of just running around with your head cut off just to make more money, just to spend more money. That 5 to 10 years you put in versus working and doubling down on your craft, right? Your gift, your skill. Like, I've been doing Ohio Cannabis Report off and on almost for like 5 years now. I pretty much started almost as soon as we started the industry, but I've been getting better and better, more consistent. Then we had a tragic family incident happen. So then a lot of things just kind of went haywire. But my whole mission and my whole vision is still in alignment with what I'm doing today. And it's a slow build. Like, I'm not worried about going viral. So many people just worry about going viral. I don't want to go viral. You go viral, cool, right? And that's just going to bring attention to everything else that I'm doing. But the goal for me was, one, it became a passion project. It became a therapeutic outlet. It became like, oh, this is a business that I can incorporate into things I'm already doing, and I could do it without having to think about it. It don't have to be perfect, because again, like, I'm barely putting any money into it outside of my time, internet and looking shit up. But a lot of people ain't willing to do this work and then put it out there and then like have a couple of views and be like, well, no, people gonna look back on this shit and it's gonna be like, where were you at? What were you doing? How did you miss out on this opportunity? Right? The green rush isn't just for cultivating cannabis. There are so many different ancillary parts around the cannabis industry. Everybody does not have to be the CEO executive of a vertically integrated plant touching cannabis business. I get it. If you could do that, if you could raise 10, 15, 20 M's, 50 M's, kudos to you. But a lot of people are missing the culture. A lot of people are missing the storytelling. A lot of people are missing like the foundation and the roots of what cannabis truly is. And you can't fake that shit. You can't fake the authenticity of somebody. Like going into a dispensary, seeing how nice they are, and then not seeing no black people. Or not seeing no black people on the walls, not seeing any type of culture. There's no music. Then you have the bud tenders. They have no idea what they're doing. It's little lily white girl. This is her first job ever. And I'm like, what? And then she's happy. I'm selling weed. Oh my God. And it's like people have been doing this shit. Like people are locked up for this. Like people have risked their lives to sell a couple bags. And you in a highly secure, like it's insane, bro. What's good, Isaiah? So it's it's interesting, this cannabis industry, and I knew it was gonna be like this. That's why I did the media. I did the media so I could talk my shit, but also do it under the brand of the Ohio Cannabis Report. Because then you can kind of be the people be coming to me for shit. I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do. Like we all on these same internets. If you want, like, share it. You know what I mean? Talk your shit. Like, it ain't up to me. I don't know what you want me to do. Y'all think I got some type of magical power? I know people be watching, but again, I don't be paying attention to people watching. Like, that's not what I do it for. I kind of do this out of just wanting to do it. You know what I mean? Like, so I think a lot of people, they see this shit and they like, like, yeah, they can like create some shit and build it up. Because people be following. I'm like, I don't know you. I'm sorry. Yeah. Let me see if we got some updated news. Yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. It's a lot going on in the world right now. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people be scared to even talk, but I don't think you can't be afraid to talk, man. Folks is getting neck shot out this joint. Let's see. Is it legal to smoke marijuana in public in Ohio? So much remains hazy about when and where Ohioans can use marijuana nearly 2 years after voters approved it for recreational use in the Buckeye State. Marijuana became legal to use recreationally in Ohio December 2023, a month after the statewide ballot initiative passed, but legal sales at dispensaries didn't start until August 6th. Although there is some conflicting language, the state statute generally prohibits recreational cannabis use in public, according to the Division of Cannabis Control, which is part of the Ohio Department of Commerce. Anyone who does so could be charged with a misdemeanor according to the state, but rules about public use are somewhat unclear. Despite the threat of the misdemeanor, the statute states that property owners in any public place can decide for themselves whether to accommodate marijuana use. Ohio's indoor smoking ban also applies to vaping and smoking marijuana in public as well, making it illegal to smoke in most indoor places. That law prohibits people from smoking plant material in enclosed areas open to the public, with exceptions for outdoor patios, smoke shops, and hotel rooms designated for smoking. The state legislature could eventually tweak the law's language to clarify when public use is permitted or prohibited. Voter approved laws like the Marijuana Initiative are subject to change by state lawmakers, unlike state constitutional amendments, which can only change at the ballot. While some Ohioans might think the law as is makes it okay to light up or take an edible on a bar or restaurant patio, the state says otherwise. Bars and restaurants with liquor permits can't allow or facilitate the use of controlled substances, which includes marijuana. Permit holders who violate this rule could face an administrative fine, according to the Division of Liquor Control. Gourmet Pizza in Columbus, Italian Village, was contacted by the Division of Liquor Control with guidance after it had invited customers to use marijuana on its patio in December 2023. After initially allowing visitors to fire it up on Fridays, the pizza spot eventually asked guests to partake ahead of time at home instead of at the restaurant. So, that's very interesting. Obviously, there's a lot of laws and rules that people are still unfamiliar with. But I hope that clarifies some things. The Vault Grow Ohio's first dispensary officially opens. South Zanesville Grow Ohio and East Fultonham Cannabis Cultivator and Processor has officially opened its first locally owned dispensary, The Vault. The first of 3 planned Grow Ohio cannabis dispensaries opened September 25th. 2600 Maysville Pike, with a majority of the Grow Ohio's own products stocking the shelves, including flour, vapes, edibles, concentrates, and other wellness items. Grow Ohio is known for flagship items like J-Bad jellies, Luster Pod vaping cartridges, and honey, among many other oils and gummies and ointments. The Vault received its provisional retail license in October 2024 and broke ground in December 2024. Grow Ohio has 2 other dispensaries in the plans. They are both coming soon. The Vault website states the Vault is open 7 days a week. In-store hours from 11 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Friday and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Sunday. Customers can also order ahead and use the drive-thru to pick up orders. The drive-thru hours are 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Friday and Saturday, and 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Sundays. So that's where my lady from them Zanesville parts. And I know the CEO that I actually played with the CEO of Grow Ohio, Josh Phoebus. I believe he's the CEO still. So yeah, they do have on their website. Let's see, the Vault. It's so corny, bro. The Vault. The Vault. Quality secured. He's so militant, bro. Like, what? It's weed, dog. Like, they make weed feel like such a it's weed, bro. Weed. Look at this process. Look at this. This is their facility, bro. That's crazy. I should do a brand with them. A white label. Let's see. The Vault. Keep saying it. It's the Vault. Where all the premium cannabis is stored and secured. The Vault. Man, this cannabis rollout in Ohio has been so terrible, bro. It is so on brand for Ohio, bro, to feel like you are doing anything new. Oh, so irritating, bro. And then the brands be so just dry. Like, there's no like creativity in the brands. Like, at least, all right, if you're gonna create your own brands, at least create good brands around the strains and shit. Like, this shit is just whack. And then the prices is crazy. And then how you not gonna be? You can't even. They're not even advertising. They're not marketing. So much potential at Grow Ohio, but the flower is still mid. Yeah, well, the flower is mid because they. I mean, they're capped because they're growing indoors, and then you're growing indoors just to grow fucking mids and Reggie, which messes up the whole operation for real. And then everything is just, man, I'm not gonna even. You don't have no tier 3, you don't have no craft grow. So then you just have this standard shit. You have these people making it's lifeless weed. Like the people making the weed don't got no life or no culture in it. You know what I mean? Like ain't no telling what type of music they listening to in these cultivation rooms. That stuff goes into the plant. You know what I mean? So if you got some BS going on, if your vibes is off, which I done seen a lot of these people that work in these cultivators and I'm like, that's why I don't really operate in that joint. But that's why I cover it media wise, because it's funny. Like, it's just embarrassing for a lot of these folks to me. Like, what? Like, where were you 6 years ago? None of y'all was fighting for cannabis freedoms, and they still not. People getting a little paycheck, and that's it. And they cool with it. And people need to be exposed, bro. It's a bunch of losers in the cannabis industry, bro. Like that shit is so lame, bro. And we too old for like not calling shit out. Like I'm the one to be like, all right, like if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Like, but shit be lame. I'm a grown ass man, okay? Like I know what good weed is. I know where I get my good weed from. I know who cultivates my weed. Like if I want, if I want to get some hash, some more rosin, I got people. So my problem is like this constriction of like we run this shit. Like no, 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 no. Billions of dollars are leaving your state to travel up north to your so-called rival who, if you want more money to put towards football, guess what you should do to the weed industry? Because it would be advantageous of you to put more money in your own state than allow that money to leave and go to Michigan where they can use that money for their football team. Because that's what they're doing. So you have a bunch of Ohioans going up to Michigan, give them billions of dollars just for you to think that you controlling the weed game. Like it's nonsense. It's utter nonsense. And then like you started an industry, now you want to roll the industry back. Oh, you could have 12 plants, but now we want to roll it back to 6 or maybe less. We said we're gonna open up to 400 dispensaries. Now we're only gonna open up 300. You know what I mean? It's a lot of bull. So it's just strange, man. Oh, no consumption lounge, no delivery. We should have delivery by now. You know what I mean? Like my closest dispensary right around the corner. I can literally walk there, but also I should be able to DoorDash my shit if I want to. If I'm a busy dad, I'm a busy entrepreneurial dad. You know what I mean? A stay-at-home parent. So I should be able to put my order in just like I could do Amazon food and my delivery be right at my door and I pay a little charge. Like, come on, bro. It's stuff like that where it's like, bro, it's 2025. It's weed. Oh, the kids are going to get the weed. No, they're not. And if they are, that's on the parent, right? Or the business. But also, like, it's like most of these kids is on Adderall. These kids is on all types of shit. Red 40. Kids is obese at 4. But the weed is the problem. Alcohol everywhere. Cigarette smoke everywhere. Gas fumes from the bus, from the cars everywhere. Pollution in the water from all the tech companies and shit. But God forbid, a little bit of weed. Shit is crazy. I've been waiting on deliveries. I mean, it's first of all, like it's part of the business model, right? Like if you want to enhance business in your state, the cannabis industry is one of those businesses. It's growing. It was an essential service during COVID. It was illegal. We got it legalized for adult or for medical use. It became an essential service during COVID. Literally essential. Other places are closing down. The cannabis dispensary, essential all of a sudden. Didn't have delivery then. Still don't have delivery. The dispensaries aren't even fighting for delivery. I feel like where's OCAN? OCAN should be fighting for delivery. That's a whole nother stream of income. My neighbor is disabled. Like, he takes an Uber everywhere to go to his doctor's appointments, to go to the dispensary. I be seeing him with his little brown paper bag. So I'm assuming he going right on the corner. But think about that. How many people are disabled, can't go, or have to take a Uber, or have to wait for their caretaker, or wait for somebody to come? Like, that's what Ohio is dealing with. There's a lot of people in the cracks, and a lot of times I feel like we can get lost in our own little fucking silos. And I try not to get lost in my silo or my own like vacuum. But the biggest group of people that are adopting cannabis is the older generation. Well, the older generation, some of them can't drive, probably not good for them to drive. You know what I mean? But delivery is a way that people get their shit delivered these days. I'm busy. I can get my weed delivered when I come home. I got my nice package on the fucking doorstep. Whoop-dee-doo. So it's that, like, but again, why aren't they people pushing for that? You know what I mean? But again, that's why, I kind of try to do what I do. I can only do so much. You know what I mean? I'm the type of person, like, I'm not crashing out for nobody else besides me and my own. Yeah. Other people need to join forces and help out. We've done organized panel discussions. We've done state house lobby days. People don't show up. People don't want to be involved. People don't, until shit really affect people. And I don't do things for other people, but it's like it's really weird that people want things, and it's like, well, you're not even going about getting those things the right way. I'm gonna be good either way. Like, my hustle is just different. But people also expect you to just give them what you got, and I can't do that. But yeah, delivery would be nice. Tier 3 craft grow would be nice. More dispensaries would be nice, allowing, a more open experience with the cannabis. I mean, smell jars, I think, would be nice. Consumption lounges would be nice. What else? I mean, more education, more just cannabis infused events, more cannabis like restaurants. But it's also up to entrepreneurs, man. I mean, entrepreneurs have to get creative, right? Me starting this was, at the end of the day, you turn it into a media production house. You know what I mean? Like, eventually I want to get a studio, and we're going to do podcasts. We'll do everything out the studio. We'll do original content. We'll do interviews. We'll do all types of cool shit. But again, it takes money, it takes investment, and people don't believe you until, you actually do that shit. So, and I'm not one to go ask people for money like that. So I like to build shit organically. You know what I mean? And then people hop on and be like, oh, I was with you. No, you wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, most people, especially me, like, I done been in enough environments in this business world. As soon as people hear cannabis, they turn the fuck away. And you need cold hard cash in cannabis. So, like, even that I'm not growing, convincing people to invest in this, it's risky business. And I'm not one to really, I like to take my own risk and bet on myself. Oh yeah, this did just come out too. Ohio State Medical Board investigating complaint of medical cannabis card record breach. So that happened. It's a lot of wow shit. Ohio dispensaries see high demand for pre-rolls. Curaleaf opens cannabis dispensary at former family video building. Juicy Holdings Inc. announced grand opening of Beyond Hello Parma in Ohio, expanding its statewide retail footprint. Man pleads guilty to operating huge illegal pot growing operation in New Mexico. That's not Ohio. Debate continues on potential tighter restrictions on recreational marijuana. Medical helicopter called after motorcycle. So that's the latest headlines. Cannabis industry. We did just hit 3 billion. So, other than that, I do know there's a trade event, I believe, coming up next week. I probably won't be attending. I might see if I can get some media passes to that joint. But yeah, I mean, people got to keep creating. I think, a lot of people are still hesitant in the cannabis industry, but there's a lot of space to create, different business models and different business opportunities, in the cannabis space. I mean, just as simple as educating people on cannabis, period, or how to grow, or what cannabis is good for. I think everybody just assumes like, oh, people are smoking weed just to get high. Like, oh my God. So why do people want to get high? Just like you go for a run, like it's people that will complain about people that want to smoke weed or consume cannabis to get high, but whole time they like to exercise. What happens when you exercise? You get high. What happens when you go for a nice little run? You get high, right? What happens when you have sex? High. You do something thrilling. You go skydiving or some shit. There's a high. You have an endocannabinoid system. There is a feeling that you get that, oh my God, this shit feels amazing. It's euphoric. But people use cannabis for a variety of reasons, right? Healthcare reasons, right? People are dealing with pain, trauma, grief. Somebody died, somebody passed away, you was in a car accident, you had surgery, you had cancer, irritable bowel syndrome, arthritis, concussions. Like there's so many different things and reasons why people are consuming. Some people are consuming and they've been self-diagnosed, right? Like they may not have access to proper health care and people around. Like there's so many different people that are in the cracks that don't often have the words to explain why they consume, right? It just makes me feel better, right? Or you may be dealing with something. You may be dealing with trauma. You may be dealing with trauma that's been inherited, passed down, grief from childhood, PTSD from childhood. You have a relationship with your parents. You've been SA. Like there are so many reasons why people go to certain things, whether it's a bottle, whether it's food, whether it's sex, whether it's overworking. But cannabis for a lot of people is like water, it's like vegetables, it's like Tylenol. It knocks the edge off. And I think, again, in order for people to understand that shit, we, the consumers, have to have the conversations publicly and be okay with being vulnerable and saying, like, hey, like, write a book about it. You know what I mean? Like, this is a book that I wrote, or I wrote a chapter. But once you realize sharing your story, and one, it's therapeutic. You know what I mean? It's very healing and therapeutic. Two, it's also, you never know who your story is going to resonate with, that it can help them get through their story or their trials. And I think in America, like a lot of us hold on tight. And I've seen it just with, the nonprofit that our family has started in memory of our son, Miles's mission. I've seen how it's helped my wife, navigate grief, and sharing our story, sharing her story, but also the amount of people that have poured in because of our family and the story and creating Miles's mission, that have said, wow, it's been 30 years, 40 years, 20 years since I lost my baby boy or my baby girl. And I just haven't had the words. And thank you for creating this organization. Now I feel seen, I feel heard, I feel like, and it's amazing because it's like, why haven't more people talked about this? Why are we so afraid to share the experiences of pain and loss that we go through? And then we act like, oh, well, nobody's there for me. Nobody. Well, yeah, there's tons of people out here. But you don't know what you don't know. You don't know if people are going through things if you never tell them. And, if you're a person of God, a person of faith, a person that goes to church, you're supposed to share your testimony, because how did you get here today in spite of the shit that you went through yesterday? right? In spite of the valleys that you fucking went through, in spite of the demons and the hurdles that you went through yesterday, you still here. And that's by the grace of God. You know what I mean? That's by faith and believing. And one day, like the light be fucking little, bro. Like right after we lost Miles, I wanted to end it all, bro. Like, cause I was just mad, I was upset, I was frustrated. Everything was going right. And I love being a father, man. And just seeing my wife and just going through the whole experience, you just feel like, there's nothing you can do. And as a man, you feel like, like, damn, what the fuck am I even here for? You know what I mean? If I can't really protect my wife in this moment, and there's no amount of money, there's no amount of there's nothing that can bring your child back. So there's no like thing that you can do. And there's nothing that can replace that. And so when you experience it, but also life is still moving for everybody else, or in the midst of fucking COVID. Um, my sister ended up passing away too. So you just realize like, fuck. But then it's like there's nobody talks about that shit. Like nobody talks about stillbirth. Nobody talks about infant mortality, the maternal mortality rate. And it's a lot of these issues that's like, oh shit, how the fuck was I supposed to know? You don't know until you experience it, because a lot of people aren't talking about it. And so obviously when you're a statistic, your family's a statistic, you can either wallow in it, or you can do something about it to hopefully ensure that other families don't have to deal with the same grief, um, or at least have to deal with it alone, or without resources, or without standardization, right? And processes at these hospitals, because there's not a standardized practice of how to help these grieving families. And You have to realize this, how important policy, the role of policy, and laws and all of that shit plays. Um, and it's, that shit, obviously, infant mortality, maternal mortality, stillbirth rates are higher in African American families. And it doesn't matter the economic status, me and my wife are both college graduates. My wife is making six figures. I've been a stay-at-home dad. None of that fact. I mean, the stress of that probably. Um, but there's no rhyme or reason. And then you just realize, like, damn, like there's no real places to go, not many support systems. So if you don't have family, if you don't have somebody you can go to, if you already maybe on drugs, or you already drink, like I'm not a drinker, so like I didn't turn to the bottle when shit get rough for me. I don't turn to alcohol. Weed, prayer, exercise, lifestyle, you know what I mean? Therapeutic shit. Yes. I might have a drink or two, but I'm not one to be like, let me go get a bottle and just douse the whole bottle. Like that ain't never been my steez. When I'm in a funk, or it's rough patches, that's the last thing you want to go, because that dehydration, that shit make everything worse. So, weed for me has always been that thing. But it's real. And oftentimes, as men, we don't have spaces to go. Even within ourselves, we don't have the tools, we don't have the resources, we haven't been prepped for this. And then you are forced into this world to be a man, to be strong, to be there for your wife or your girlfriend or your significant other or your partner, um, your children. And then you realize there's so many holes. I mean, even as a parent, healthy family, there's still so many holes. It's so expensive. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why, again, cannabis is something for me that helps me with my health and wellness, because I rarely go to the doc. I have to go to the doctors. I usually do my yearly checkups. I had to go to emergency room for amputating my finger partially. But outside of that, I don't really get sick. I ain't get COVID. Outside of my wife and my kids, that's where we go. But if I could take care of me, make sure I'm good for the most part, all right, that'll make sure I'm strong enough to take care of everybody else, at least assist or help. It's not saying that I'm perfect. When I do get sick, I'm out for the count. When I'm hurt, I need a day or two. It's rare. It's rare, but when it happens, it happens. So, but yeah, man, A lot going on, man. Take care of yourself. Take care of your friends, your family, your community members. Um, it's a lot going on in the world. It's a lot changing very fast. And I think a lot of people, get stuck in their ways. But things are changing fast. And if you're not ready, if you're not aware, um, and engaged, things will, run right over you. So quick episode today. I know I ain't go too long, it's 40 minutes. But I wanted to get some just a report up about that strike over at Herbal Wellness, Columbus, Ohio. Shout out to everybody that was on the strike. If anybody sees this and wants to share any information, please feel free to reach out to me. You can reach out via email. I'll put the email in here. So I'll put that in the chat. What's good, bro? Let me see, what time is it? So yeah, thanks everybody for following and subscribing on YouTube. I'm about to get off the live. Let me show this. So if you want to send me an email, you can send me an email at ohiocannabisreport@gmail.com. If you're a part of that strike over at Herbal Wellness, we would love to have you on the show, so you can explain anything that you want about the situation over there. Anybody else in the cannabis industry here in Ohio, or anybody else that sees this, if you want to come on the show and share your story, share your perspective. If you're just a consumer, we would love to hear your voice as well. There's a lot going on in the industry. If you are an influencer, if you are somebody looking to, make space as a influencer in the space, come on, share your knowledge, share your experience. Um, because again, Ohio is a fairly new industry, so there's a lot of opportunities here outside of the cannabis dispensaries, cultivators. So again, we'd love to have you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, show love, spread love, and let us know in the comments what you're smoking. We out. Peace. In the stream over there.